I did not put the second coats of the red and the green on last night like I'd planned. I just did it now. So we got to wait for this to dry. And you know what? I'm not really too happy with this clear red or clear green. What I think actually looks better is just the plain old number 7 red here. And I think the green would look better if it was lighter. Now I know it's not going to have the transparent or translucent look to it. However, I think that for what I need for this little tiny part that's going to go on the side of the superstructure, well, right now I'm leaning towards this red and this green lightened up. Not the red lightened up, just the green. Now, I know we are basically still in step 45 here. But if you remember yesterday when we were looking at the World of Warships CGI, as well as this marker here, there was another one. It was actually quite a bit larger. And so I'm just sort of wanting to, cruise ahead a little bit here and see, does it show where possibly okay, now we're getting more onto the rest of the superstructure. And I'm not seeing anywhere where they want us to put anything else on the side of the superstructure, and it would unless I misread the World of Warships CGI yesterday wrong, it would have to be on this section here, and I'm just not seeing anything else. Yeah, then we get into the funnels. So I don't know what they're talking about there, and the World of Warships CGI was talking about. But however, if we look at Stefan Drambinski's drawing, we don't see anything else other than this little piece right here. Now, if it was in Stefan's drawing, as near as I can tell, this is where it should be. Now, we got to remember that the ship was, about 20 years in service? And just because it was on one year doesn't mean it was on the next, so maybe both are right. So, yeah, I'm starting to sort of think out loud here. This is so tiny, and not all of this is red. Maybe I'll put on the macro lens and show you what I'm talking about here. We'll use Mr. T's poking device, or in this case, pointing device. Now, and try and keep it in your field of view here. See those little scratches? They almost look like some sort of, see if I can get the light to reflect just right off it. There's little scratches on this part right here. Now I didn't do that. Are they supposed to be some sort of, almost looks like Chinese writing? Okay, anyway, enough of that. Now, this part right here, where the Chinese writing is, that would have to be red, or in this case, green, because this one here will be the green one. And also right here, where I'm sticking the point, that is supposed to represent where there would be a lens. Most of this piece right here would be the frame. This would not be red or green. It would be whatever the side of the ship was. In other words, the number 22. So maybe what I should be doing is painting this part first with the 22, so it will blend in with the rest of the superstructure, and then later paint right here and in here with the red or the green. Now we are looking at this on the macro level, and once again, nobody's probably going to even notice, but it might be kind of fun to try and do that. I might be able to paint in here with... Now it's stuck on there. Anyway, you get the idea. Earlier this morning, I was reading one of the comments from one of the other modelers who's also putting videos in YouTube, and he was indicating, unless I misunderstood, that he doesn't use an airbrush very much. And I'm just wondering here, how much detail am I going to lose if I was to, just paint these with a brush? No, this may not want to stick too good on the masking tape. Okay. Now I'll get this positioned right on the center. Then I'll be able to put it on my rotator. But I'm not going to use the rotator powered up. I'm just going to use it to keep it centered in the macro lens. Okay, that should stay on there. Okay, that's a better angle. Now, I have decided that because this number 22 has been thinned down 33% for the airbrush, I'm not going to use my little brush here. I'm going to use the next size up, which is actually quite large. But I'm thinking that I'm going to be putting on probably 2 or 3 thin coats, and I'll just sort of... Now this may not work. I'm just going to sort of almost flood it on in a way, and then sort of, you might say, wick the excess off into the brush. At least that's the plan. Now, when it comes to painting by hand, it never works out as planned. Well, here we go. I'm thinking that maybe 2 coats will be enough here. I don't want to be getting any more paint on the inside of this hole here than necessary, because what's going to happen is I'm going to be wanting to put the red and green in there. Actually, that went on better than I thought. I'm thinking that in all likelihood, when this dries, okay, when this dries, I think it'll probably shrink itself around pretty good. Let's just check it out in about 10 minutes or so, probably half an hour. I forgot I need to do 2 of these. Now this one does not seem to be going quite as well. Maybe the other one I put it on a little thicker. But remember I had said I didn't want to do that. Okay, this one's definitely going to need 2 coats. It's almost like there's wax or something on this thing, and it's not wanting to stick to the plastic. Well, let's just leave it and we'll give it another coat. Probably 45 minutes or so has passed here, and while I was waiting for this to dry, I edited out the last scene where I was painting there. And when you're looking at it up really, really close, like with the macro lens on the computer, you realize that you didn't paint as nearly as good as you thought you did. I think I was afraid of maybe getting it onto the blue tack, and I wasn't going down, like, for instance, right in here. So I'm going to have to saturate it on just a little bit heavier with the second coat here. And I also concluded that the airbrush would have done a much better job, even though it would have meant I would have had to have gone downstairs to my workshop and plug in the air hose. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? Okay, this time, excuse me, let's just flood it on just a little better here. Let's not worry about the blue tack. It's not that expensive. Okay, no, I know that looks like it's pooled on pretty good, but I'm pretty sure that when that evaporates, it's going to shrink. No, I don't want to scrub it on, because what's going to happen is the previous coat is going to rub off and I'll be down to bare plastic again. Okay, I know that looks like it's pretty heavy, but I do think when we look at it after a little bit, it's going to look okay. Now, let's not poke at it anymore here. Okay, as I mentioned, I'm happy with the way this red looks. It's actually a little bit glossy. Not quite the way a lens would be, like a lens would look more like this. But as for the green is way too dark. So I'm just wondering, how would it be if I was to take, say, a drop of green and a drop of white, and just an experiment, just a drop. We're not going to be wasting a whole lot. There's probably about 600-700 drops in a jar like that. Anyway, we'll just mix it up as an experiment. Now, we don't have too much more time today, but we probably have time to, see if we can make a lighter green. I mean, I know we can make a lighter green. So we gotta wait for these things to dry anyway, right? May as well kill some time, profitably. Okay, now no use drawing it up into the pipette any further than I have to. Oh, I did shake these out. Okay, let's go 1, 2, 3. Okay, what I've got over here is hot water. I know that these pipettes are only about 15 cents a piece, but this may as well reuse them if we can. One, two, three. Okay, that's half-half. Let's see what happens here. Okay, now do I use to stir it with? You know, I probably could have used the other end of the brush. It might have done a better job. Okay. Now, where's Tony's mule? I lost it. Oh. Couldn't see it for looking at it. All right. I guess let's just put it right here. This is pristine plastic. All right, that's on there, pooled on there, thick enough that I don't need to put on 2 coats. And I'll zoom in a little bit and we'll have a closer look. Okay, stop poking at it. Okay, we've cleaned out our little brush here. So I guess probably about 5 minutes has passed, and you can see this is starting to dry now. It's starting to get kind of blotchy looking. I don't want to touch it because I know, I can tell by looking at it that I'll ruin it. So let's just leave everything here now until tomorrow. And we'll have a nice close look at these and see how the paint shrunk around all the little details. I don't think we lost too much. Yes, the airbrush would have done a better job, but we didn't use the airbrush. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.